Yo, what's up everyone? Back for another FanDuel video for this full 15-game slate. Yesterday's picks were great for FanDuel, scored at 202 if you use the picks that I gave out. So hopefully today's picks are just as good. So let's get right into it. You can drop a like and subscribe down below, and you can check out the website, links in description. So today at pitcher, I am looking at the top with Walker Buehler. He's going to be my guy at the top. Lance Lynn is also viable for GPPs, I think, just because he's been so good this season. Even though he pitches at home, he's been great in Texas as well, and the matchup is fine against the Diamondbacks team. So I think I've definitely played those two guys over guys like Woodruff in a tough matchup. Don't have that much interest in Yamamoto. No interest in like Allen or Cashner at 8,000, or really like even Sabathia really at 82. And then down here, I think you can play guys like Flaherty if you need if you want a cheap pitcher to pay up for bats. Like I like Flaherty, Zach Plesac, and that's pretty much it. Nobody down here below like 6,000 is viable in my opinion. So those are the few pitchers that I think you can consider. I'm going to go just roll with Walker Buehler just because, once again, we have some incredible value on FanDuel. And a lot of the value comes here from the catcher first base position. Like, if you look right here, scroll down under 3,000. Look at all the viable options we have. We have Roberto Perez as a very low-owned GPP option. He crushes left-handed pitching. We have Ryan Zimmerman at only 2,900. The Nationals have one of the higher totals on the slate, highest totals on the slate. We have Eric Thames against Bryce Wilson at only 28. We have Travis d'Arnaud, who might get some more love after his 3-home-run game yesterday, but we know he hits the ball well against lefties this season and gets another lefty in Sabathia. We have $2,800 for Danny Santana. We have Adams if he's in the lineup. We have another very cheap price tag on Jack Pederson, $2,700. We have Pederson. We also have Howie Kendrick at $2,500. There's like 6 or 7 really viable options down here that are extremely cheap. So it makes paying up for pitching very easy on this slate. I'm going to go ahead and lock in Howie Kendrick here. Since the Nationals are going into a American League Park, Howie Kendrick should finally get some playing time in this series. Has really hit the bench, even though he shouldn't, just because he's been playing so well. He's hitting .333 on the season, 12 home runs, 48 RBIs. And since the Nationals have gotten healthy, he hasn't really got a lot of playing time, but he still has been really good at making the most of his opportunities. Projected about 6th here at only $2,500, facing Asher Wojciechowski. I think the Nationals will put up some runs, and they're also very, very cheap on FanDuel today. If you look at the Nationals, we have a couple expensive guys, but then you have a lot of cheap options with Eaton at 3,000, Zimmerman. You have Brian Dozier as well, Gomes, and you have Howie Kendrick. At second base, I'm loving some Dodgers again today. I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Max Muncy here at 3,800. Muncy could have even had a bigger game, but he got pulled after like 4 at-bats. The other Dodgers got 6 at-bats in that crazy game against the Phillies, but he got pulled just because they were winning by so much. But if that doesn't happen again today, he should get a ton of at-bats. And we know that the Phillies pitching is really bad, especially the bullpen. And Vince Velasquez has not been good at all this season as well. And if you look here at Plate IQ, Velasquez loves to throw his fastball. And that is not a pitch that is going to have a lot of success against this Dodgers lineup. They all crush the fastball. Look at this numbers this season. 69% fastball percentage, almost a 70% fastball percentage against lefties. These lefties will just sit on the fastball. Pederson, 319 ISO. Verdugo, 245 ISO. Everybody in this projected lineup except for Barnes has over a 200 ISO. And you have most of the guys at over 300 with Pollock at 321, Muncy at 308, Bellinger 313. Just really, really good numbers there. And if you want to play some righties, against the slider, you also have Bellinger, Pederson. They still crush it. Seager crushes sliders as well. So they crush the main 2 pitches. The Dodgers crush the main 2 pitches that Velasquez throws. Great hitting ballpark, as we saw yesterday. All over them yesterday, and it paid off. I'm going to be on them again today, even though we have a Coors game. I think Coors will probably get some more love again, just because people that played Coors yesterday, they don't want to miss the boat if it goes off. I think Coors is fine. I'll definitely have some Dodgers in there as well, just because they are in a prime spot. In the outfield, once again, I'm going to go ahead and play Luplow here at 2,600. Is still very, very cheap. I was surprised yesterday. They usually pitch hit for him when they have a righty, but they let him hit against a righty after the rain delay. So that's a good sign. He just couldn't get anything going against the lefty. Daniel Norris had one of his best strikeout games of the season, and he struck out Luplow a couple times, but Carpenter is not a strikeout pitcher at all. He has like a 13 to 17% strikeout rate. Just not a good pitcher. I like the Indians stack quite a bit. They're also very affordable on FanDuel. Very, very cheap for guys like Luplow at 26. If we look here, Carpenter against righties likes to throw his sinker at 28%. Luplow 280 ISO on that. He likes to throw his slider at the next most. Luplow, it's a very small sample size, but he still can hit that well with a 333 ISO. Fastball, Luplow hits that well, 422 ISO. And changeup, almost a 200 ISO there. Just like the spot for him. And if you look at all these Indians hitters, they do hit his pitches well. I like Oscar Mercado now that he got out of his big flunk that he was in yesterday. I think he's going to stay hot for a few games at least. I like him. He's only 2,700. I love Luplow. I like Jose Ramirez. His numbers are much, much better against left-handed pitching this season, and he offers a ton of stolen base upside. I like Jake Bauers a little bit if he's in the lineup, and I love Francisco Lindor. I think going with a nice Indian stack makes sense considering how bad Carpenter is. A 258 ISO given up to righties, just a 13% K rate. The Indians should be able to put up some runs here. I like them quite a bit. And that's, like I said, there's so much value in that catcher first base spot. Going to go ahead and give you another tremendous value, which is Jock Pederson batting leadoff, $2,700. It's too cheap here. Only $2,700 for Jock. Insane amount of power. Gets a ton of at-bats here. They only pitch hit for him when they have a lefty out of the bullpen. And the Phillies don't have a ton of lefties in the pen. I think their only lefty is Adam Morgan. So if he can avoid that, then he should get the full 9 innings of work. And as I just showed you, Velasquez loves to throw his fastball. And that's what Pederson crushes. One of the higher ISOs on the team against a fastball. Should get plenty of fastballs. 319 ISO there. So yeah, just a really good spot for Pederson. Also the slider, he hits that well, which is Velasquez's next highest pitch at 13% to lefties. 325 ISO there. I think the Dodgers are once again going to put up some runs. The Phillies seem like they are just kind of done. They feel like they're going to have a big explosion in the locker room soon after yesterday's performance and just how they played the last couple weeks. I think the Dodgers can take advantage of it. And Jock Pederson at 2,700. Nice and cheap here for me. So those are some plays I like for FanDuel. And if you want some more cheap options, let's see if we can identify some more value plays here at below $3,500. So here we go. At $3,500 here, I'm looking at Kevin Pillar in Coors. I don't mind him. I like Eloy Jimenez a lot at $3,500 facing Sparkman in that terrible bullpen. Jason Hayward facing Descalfini, who struggles against lefties a lot. I like him. Benintendi once again at $3,400. I love Benintendi. Simeon, I think, is a fine play. Buster Posey is cheap. And those are some of the main ones. We still have a bunch of players down here, but those are some other guys that you can look at in the $3,000 to $5,000 range if you need some. And if we were looking at some insane value here down at $2,500 or below, we don't get a ton here. We don't get a ton to work with. So those are kind of the value plays I like. Kendrick, I like Pederson. Dozier, I already mentioned him. Mercando's only $2,700. Seems like a really, really good play. Dyson, $2,700, even though it's against Lynn. Playing in Texas, I think he's fine. He has a lot of stolen base upside. As I mentioned, Thames, I like him. And now we're back to where we started. And John Jay, I think, is also a fine play just because he hits the ball. He's not going to hit for power, but he can get on base a lot. And they should be able to score some runs here, so I like him. And I think Ryan Braun's a fine play at 3,000. And that's pretty much it. So those are some other plays that you can look at below 3,500 that I like. And Chris Davis as well, even though he hasn't been hitting the ball well, at only $3,100 is very, very cheap for Davis. So yeah, that's where I'm at on this slate. Thanks for watching. You can drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.